Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something pretty fundamental for any fire department managing training records. It sounds simple, but, well, it often isn't.
No, it really isn't. In my experience working with departments all over, this is like a universal headache. It hits
Yeah.
everyone, right? From the firefighter needing proof they're current up to command staff who need reliable data for compliance, for budgets.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking from my time as chief, just keeping tabs on who trained on what and when, and, making absolutely sure it counted for the right certification or requirement. It felt like a constant scramble. Spreadsheets, binders over here, maybe another system over there.
Yeah, totally siloed.
Exactly. It was just such a struggle to get one clear, trustworthy picture. So our mission today, really looking into the EPR FireWorks training module, is to see how a system built for the fire service tackles these issues and, how it aims to turn that admin chore into something valuable for decision makers like you.
Right. We're going to explore how it's set up to, first, bring all that info together, then make sure it's accurate, and finally give you the insights you actually need from it.
Okay, so let's start with those pain points I remember so well. Just the sheer volume, the variety of training. You've got your regular company drills, then drive operator training, officer development, maybe ICS practice. Seems like every role, every rig has its own training needs.
Absolutely. And then it gets even more complex when you layer in specific hour requirements for certifications. Like maybe you need 228 hours a year, or you've got a cert that runs strictly Yon 1st to the NAC 31st. Doesn't matter when you did the training.
Right, those calendar cycles.
Yeah, trying to track each person against those specific, often overlapping rules manually. I mean, it takes forever. And honestly, errors happen.
Oh, the errors. That drove me nuts. You'd have like 3 different people log the same company drill slightly differently, maybe a different title, or they put down different hours, or the notes were unclear. So then when you go to pull a report,
The data's a mess.
it's inconsistent, unreliable. You'd spend hours just trying to clean it up, figure out what actually happened. How can you make, strategic calls or face an audit if you fundamentally don't trust the numbers you're looking at?
You really can't. And that lack of clean, consistent data, it's not just a reporting nightmare. It directly impacts things like demonstrating readiness, justifying resources, even managing risk. I mean, if your training records aren't solid, how do you know everyone's up to date on critical safety stuff?
Exactly my point. Okay, so let's pivot. How does the EPR FireWorks training module, based on what I've seen and my understanding, tackle these core problems? Centralization seems like the starting point.
It really is. It's foundational. What we see out there is, training records are scattered, personnel files, shared drives. Maybe HR has something, ops has something else. The EPR system pulls all of that training info into one place, one single platform.
Right.
Every training activity, every person, all accessible right there.
So, one place. That's a big step. But getting the info in there can still be a bottleneck, right? How flexible is it for actually entering all these different kinds of training activities?
Yeah, good question. We've really designed it with that reality in mind. So there are multiple ways to add training. You can schedule upcoming classes, put in all the details ahead of time,
Okay.
or say a company drill just finished, you can easily add the details and tag all the staff who attended in one go.
Bulk entry. Nice.
Yeah. Or if someone did individual training, maybe watched a relevant video, took an online course, they can add those entries themselves. It's pretty flexible.
And is it just for stuff happening right now, or?
Oh, no, not at all. You can easily backdate training. Maybe you're migrating old records or just catching up from last week. You can also schedule training way out in the future. And importantly, it captures training no matter where it happened, station, training center, even remotely.
Okay.
The whole idea is just to make it easy to get all the training logged efficiently, so you have that complete picture.
That flexibility, yeah, that sounds like it would cut down significantly on that admin backlog, I remember.
It really does. And sometimes, you just need to quickly note that something happened. You can actually start by creating a super simple training record with just a title. No need to build out a full template right away.
Really? Just a title.
Yeah, get the basic record in, You can always add more detail later if you need to. It just lowers that barrier so you don't skip logging something because it feels like too much hassle in the moment.
Okay, that makes sense. So once all this info is actually getting into the system, the next hurdle is finding it and making sense of it all.
Yeah.
How does it help managers sort through potentially thousands of records?
Right, organization is key. The system uses categories, which usually mirror how departments already think about training. Things like Company training, driver training, officer training, incident command.
Standard stuff.
Yeah. And interestingly, community risk reduction is often put under training too, recognizing that, public education is a vital activity that needs planning and tracking, just like internal stuff.
So it's not just about squirting water.
Exactly.
Uh,
It covers the whole spectrum of department activities involving training or education. Then, within those main categories, you can use subcategories to get more granular. And you can even add optional tags for, like, extra search flexibility.
So how does that actually help day to day for a chief or a training officer trying to find something specific?
It makes getting the right info super fast. You can pull up a training calendar filtered just for driver training, for example, or run reports specifically on ICS hours just for your battalion chiefs instead of digging through everything.
You filter.
Yeah, you filter by category, subcategory, date range, tags, whatever you need. You find exactly the data you're looking for reports, for planning, for audits, much, much faster.
Okay, categories, tags, that helps find the data. Now let's dig into something really critical, especially for compliance and readiness certifications, that whole complex web. How does the module handle that?
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the most powerful parts for managers focused on compliance. The system lets you define all your certifications, and that means, everything from state EMT or firefighter certs to your internal qualifications like pump operator or maybe aerial driver.
Right, those internal ones are just as vital for operations.
Absolutely. And then you associate specific training templates with those certifications. So when someone completes training using that template, let's say it's the monthly pump ops drill template, the system automatically knows, okay, this counts towards their pump operator cert.
And it tracks their progress
Yeah.
automatically.
Yes, and this is where you see huge time savings and accuracy gains. The system just automatically tracks the hours building up towards each certification requirement. If a cert needs, say, 228 hours a year, the system shows you exactly how many hours Joe Smith has completed and, crucially, how many he still needs.
So you see gaps immediately.
Exactly. You can see at a glance who's on track, who's maybe falling behind. That visibility is just invaluable for being proactive.
No kidding.
And you can set up certifications to auto-renew based on expiration dates, handling those tricky annual cycles without someone having to manually track it all. It also supports task books. You can create like subjects or chapters within the system and linked training or evaluations to show progress through those task book steps.
So it helped manage task book completion too, which is obviously essential for getting people signed off in specific roles.
Exactly. And for staying ahead of compliance, the system can give you automated alerts and reports for certifications that are about to expire, say, in the next 30 or 60 days.
Proactive warnings.
Right. It gives the training officers or the chiefs that lead time they need to schedule the required training and avoid any lapses. Nobody wants those lapses.
No, definitely not. That automated tracking and alerting, I can see how that saves just countless hours and really lowers that compliance risk. But it all hinges on the data being right in the first place. Going back to my old headache about inconsistent entries, how does the system help ensure the quality of the data going in?
Yeah, this is critical. This is probably where the system delivers the most confidence for managers who, need to absolutely trust their reports. We have features like validation and template locking designed specifically for data quality and consistency.
Okay, validation. What's that involve?
Validation is basically a quality control checkpoint. You can set it up so that after personnel enter a training record, it has to be reviewed and approved by a supervisor or maybe a designated training officer before those hours officially count towards any totals or certifications.
So it's like a verification step.
Yeah.
It doesn't just get logged and counted. Someone has to sign off.
Precisely. You get to choose which training types need validation, but honestly, a lot of departments require it for most things just to make sure that critical data is accurate and entered the way it should be, according to their standards.
Okay, that makes sense. And the template locking you mentioned, how does that stop, 5 different people describing the same drill 5 different ways?
That's exactly its purpose. So administrators build these detailed training templates for your common activities. Let's use driver training again. In that template, you set the official title, the category, the hours, maybe link it to the driver cert, maybe even attach lesson plans.
Got it.
Then once that template is built, an admin can lock certain fields. So when a company officer or firefighter logs that driver training using the locked template, they can really only add the attendees and maybe some session-specific notes. The core stuff, the title, hours, category links, that's all fixed by the template.
I see. So it forces standardization right at the point of entry. No more variations.
Exactly. It ensures driver training is always logged as driver training, always counts for the right hours, always links to the right cert, doesn't matter who enters it. It just eliminates that ambiguity and inconsistency that you see in manual systems or, frankly, less structured software,
Yeah.
which means when you run a report on driver training, you know you're seeing accurate apples to apples data. And that saves, immense time cleaning things up later and makes your report solid for things like ISO reviews or brand justifications.
That confidence in the data,
Yeah.
that's huge. Which brings us to the output, right? The reporting and analytics. All this structured, validated data needs to be easily accessible for managers, for decision makers.
Absolutely. The whole point is to turn that data into actual intelligence you can use. With everything centralized and validated, the system makes it pretty straightforward to generate a wide range of reports.
Like what kind of reports?
Well, you can quickly pull up certification progress reports, see how the whole department's doing, or drill down to specific shifts or even individuals. You can view total training hours completed by category, by person, over any time period you want. And actually, individuals can usually see their own complete training history too.
Oh, that's great for the firefighters themselves for career development.
It really is. And you can generate these reports in different formats, Excel if you want to crunch the numbers further, or PDF for presentations, or sending off for an audit.
So strategically then, how does having this kind of detailed, validated, easily reportable data really benefit a chief or an administrator beyond just, checking the compliance box?
Oh, it goes way beyond just checking boxes. For instance, when you need to justify buying new training equipment or maybe argue for more staffing,
Yeah.
you can use concrete data, show the actual hours being spent on specific training types, or maybe highlight gaps where required hours just aren't being met consistently. It gives you that ROI data, that justification to back up budget requests.
So you can show the need with real numbers, not just stories.
Exactly. And of course, it's essential for meeting external requirements like from ISO or NFPA. You can provide those detailed training records easily and accurately. It helps with budget planning because you see where your training resources are actually going. And critically, it gives you real visibility into your department's readiness.
How so?
Well, based on verified training records, you can actually see who's qualified for what, which crews have completed specialized training for, say, hazmat or tech rescue incidents. You can spot areas where maybe more training is needed across the board. It really lets you make data-driven decisions about personnel and operations.
It sounds like it shifts training records from just being, well, a chore into more of a strategic tool for managing your people, your most critical resource.
That's exactly it. It transforms those raw attendance sheets into actual insights that help you develop your people effectively, make sure that they're prepared for what they face, and, ultimately improve the whole department's effectiveness and safety.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, for departments thinking about this, implementing a new system, change can be tough. What kind of resources or support are available?
Yeah, that's a fair point. We definitely understand that migrating data, learning a new system, it's a significant thing.
Yeah.
And, in my role, I see how important good support is. EPR FireWorks really emphasizes providing excellent customer support. That starts right from the initial data migration. Our team handles that professionally, making sure it's smooth, you don't lose valuable history.
Okay, so help with getting started.
Absolutely. And then ongoing assistance once you're live. Within the system itself, you can upload your own department's training resources, specific PDFs, PowerPoints, lesson plans you use.
Your own stuff?
Your own stuff. Plus, we offer access to pre-built training content too, tests, lesson plans, videos, which can be a huge time saver, not having to create everything from scratch. And naturally, if you get stuck, have a question, our support team is there to help. A lot of us at EPR FireWorks actually come from the fire service ourselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we genuinely get the day-to-day pressures and challenges you're dealing with.
That does make a difference, knowing the folks behind the software actually understand the job.
It really does. I think it shapes how we build the system and how we support it.
Okay. So, wrapping this deep dive up then, the EPR FireWorks training module, from everything we've talked about, it really seems purpose-built to hit those core challenges. Remember the inconsistent data, the painful manual tracking, the reporting nightmares. It does that by offering, flexible ways to get data in, strong organization tools, that automated certification and task book tracking, plus the validation for data quality, and then powerful reporting.
And for you, the listener, the decision maker, all those features really translate into direct strategic wins. saving significant time on admin, having real confidence you're meeting compliance, getting clear visibility into your team's readiness, and having that solid, reliable data you need for budgeting, resource planning, and developing your people.
It's about moving past just shuffling paperwork
Yeah.
to actually managing your training strategically.
Yeah. So maybe just think about this for a second. How much is your current way of handling training records actually costing your department each year? Think about the wasted admin hours, the potential compliance fines or risks, maybe missed opportunities because you just don't have good data for planning.
That's a powerful question. If what you've heard today resonates with your station's challenges, and you'd like to see exactly how the EPR Fireworks platform can be tailored to solve your specific problems, we invite you to a personal one-on-one demo. Please visit us at eprfireworks.com to schedule a conversation at a time that is convenient for you. There's no obligation, only solutions.